Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing What If Naruto Was a Prodigy Part 2. Sorry for not uploading recently. I've been fairly tired. And yeah, I've just been trying to catch up on my sleep. It's pretty difficult when your sleep schedule is absolute shit hit the fan when it came to my sleep schedule. Because even when I'm trying to get good rest, I go to sleep at 11. Which is just stupid. But yeah. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna get into the recap right now. So, in the last part, I covered up to the start of the Land of Waves mission, where they were waiting at the gate and are ready to leave the village. One thing I would like to say is that Naruto and Sasuke are both tuning level fighters. And, yeah. So, let's get into it. So, the combined teams of Naruto, Sasuke, and Kakashi, and, Kushina, Menma, Sakura, and Kiba. So, they'll begin to head out. And after a little bit, everyone begins to start bashing Naruto, saying that how he's the useless one. And, yeah. Sasuke and Naruto are really just ignoring everyone, and they're kind of just walking. They don't really even care. And this is when Menma throws a kunai at Naruto, which Naruto just catches like Kakashi caught him. The kunai Sasuke threw at him during the, you know what it was, the bell test, yeah. I have no brain cells left over. But yeah, yeah. This pisses off Menma, but then Kushina tells him to calm down. So he does. And this is when, the Demon Brothers attack. Menma and his team won't really react to it, just like they did in canon. And then we get to wrap around Kakashi. But out of nowhere, you would just see a little flash. Kushina didn't react, wanting to see if her team could catch it. But then Naruto began to knock out one of the Demon Brothers, and then Sasuke would come and knock out the other, before they could wrap their chains around Kakashi. And then they would tie them up to the tree. Menma and the rest of his team, Kiba and Sakura, would be shocked at Naruto and Sasuke's speed. But then Sakura would say that it's obvious that Sasuke did all the work and Naruto's just taking credit for it. But then Sasuke began to say that they both did an equal amount of work. So to shut up and quit being an idiot. And, yeah, they would question Demon Brothers, get all the answers, but this time they won't question going back, since they have two teams, they prepared for this. A bit over-prepared, but, you know, it really doesn't matter. They have two tuning fighters, and, two Joning, and 3 Genin, which is a pretty good team if you forget about the Genin, since Sakura is pretty useless. Kiba was more useful than Sakura, but was still kind of useless. He was very situational. Like, sometimes he would be useless, but then other times he would be extremely important. But yeah. But his entire clan kind of got made fun of. Like, they got 0 screen time. It was honestly kind of sad. And Shino's clan got absolutely... Like, that was stupid how little screen time they got, man. They were so cool in Shippuden. Like, if they would have gotten more screen time, it would have been amazing. But yeah. So yeah. This is when Naruto throws his kunai at the rabbit. And everyone on Team Kushina begins to make fun of Naruto, saying that he was just anxious and he's scared. But then Naruto points out that it's the middle of spring and that that there's snow on the rabbit's fur, which clearly means that it's a substitution and that they're the ones that are idiots. And all of them shut up instantly since they feel kind of outsmarted. But yeah. This is the point when Zabuza is gonna arrive with Haku, since he wants to be able to take out the Bridge Wielder now and try to do that. So yeah, Haku is gonna engage Kushina, and I'm gonna say that Haku's a bit stronger. And Haku was strong in the original, but Haku's gonna be stronger. And Kushina's, I think she's a high Jonin. I forget. Let me double check right now. We'll see right. The Kushina is Kage level, which is kinda like she could be Kage level, but like honestly, I don't. She'd be really low Kage level, so like high Jonin level. Kakashi would be stronger than her, I'm guessing. Kakashi's gonna be stronger than her, and she's gonna be weaker. Yeah. So in this timeline, she's gonna be a mid Jonin level fighter. Saku's gonna be a high Jonin level fighter. So yeah, Naruto and Sasuke will say we want to go fight one of them. Kakashi will tell them that this is their fight, and Kakashi will take on Zabuza while Kushina takes on Haku. Kushina will begin slapped around in there, and Mema would try running in, but she would tell him to not, and she would try using her Uzumaki chains to redirect them and stuff like that, but she's just getting absolutely slammed by Haku. And it's at one point that Haku's gonna go to one of the mirrors, he's gonna just slam Kushina, and this is when Mema's had enough, and he runs in there and starts trying to defend his mom, but he ends up getting severely injured in the process. Naruto and Sasuke realizing that they may need to step in. So they begin to step in, and they both try to fight Haku. Each of them are gravely outmatched, and Naruto ends up getting knocked out. And Sasuke, thinking that is dead, unlocks his Tutomori Sharingan. But he still can't see Haku's speed in a way. He can kinda, but he can't. But Sasuke begins to trying to block Haku, but he really can't, and he ends up getting hit. Meanwhile, Naruto's talking to the Nine-Tails. Him and the Nine-Tails are actually becoming friends, and since I said Naruto's a prodigy in this one, he's gonna become friends with the Nine-Tails at a really young age, and now he is basically unlocking KCM2. Now, he can't use it to work extent, but he can. It's pretty powerful. And everyone begins to see this light yellowish aura around Naruto. And it's gonna basically form like a cape. And everyone can feel this immense chakra radiating off Naruto. And Haku's shocked. Kushina's actually gonna wake up. She's gonna see this, and she's gonna think Nine-Tails. She's gonna pull out a chakra suppression tank. Naruto's gonna grab it grab her arm, and then he's gonna disappear, like blitzing at Haku. Him and Haku are gonna engage at speeds that are pretty quick, but Kushina can still keep up with them. Basically, just because she is pretty good. She can see quick fights. And also, Haku's not going 100%, nor is Naruto. But Naruto's also holding back because, Haku's holding back. If he goes all out, he could damage his body, and he knows this probably won't be the last battle. So, yeah. But yeah, Haku sees Zabuza about taken out, so him and Zabuza teleport out of there. After that, Naruto ends up, how Naruto unlocked the cage was he actually made his own key, because he's a genius, obviously. Prodigy, genius, yeah. And opened it up, and yeah, him and the Nine Tails are friends. But yeah, Sasuke ends up waking up from this. Waking up as Naruto is carrying him back to the house. And everyone, Kushina's dead silent during the entire walk, trying to comprehend how Naruto got the speed that, high level, that Jonin struggled to achieve. And what that yellow glow is. She thinks it's the Nine Tails, but she can't be sure, since Naruto had control over his body. So she's really trying to figure out, and she just decides to ask Naruto. She asks him, what was that power? And Naruto begins to say, I may or may not have befriended the Nine Tails. And then Kushina's mouth, literally hits the floor. And everyone stops, dead in their tracks, and, turns over. Sasuke is oh, that's pretty cool, dude. But then everyone else is dude, you can't trust it. Oh my, get away from this demon. I'm running away. I want to go home. And Kakashi is honestly you guys overreact. If he befriended the Nine Tails, he probably did. Since the Nine Tails he probably was respectful to the Nine Tails, unlike some people aren't, which makes the Nine Tails not want to befriend them. Naruto began to say if they want to talk to him, he can make them talk to him. And Kushina's yeah, I want to talk to that demon. And Naruto makes a shadow clone. And then he lets Kurama take over his shadow clone, since he can easily beat the shadow clone. Because, yeah. And Kurama begins to explain everything. And, Kushina is basically shocked at this. And then tries hitting Naruto. But the Nine Tails grabs her hand. And says that's enough. And then he begins to squeeze. And he's seriously about to break her wrist until she says fine. And then the Nine Tails begins to explain some more stuff. And Kushina was going to smack him because he didn't tell her about this stuff. He would have been promoted to #1 child if they knew about this stuff. And she then asked, how did you get the key? The obvious question, the elephant in the room. And Naruto would look at her, and he would look kind of confused. And he would look at her. He said, what do you think? I didn't get the key. Why didn't I just created a new one? And everyone else is what seal did you have? He said, I had an 8 trigram seal. And he said, it was pretty simple. What I had to do is create a key for an 8 trigram seal. Basically destroying the lock. That's all the key had to do. And then everyone's jaw just began to it was everyone was shocked. They didn't know Naruto was this smart. And even kind of surprised Sasuke, but he knew Naruto was very skilled in seals. And he knew now he had to get stronger. So they made it back to Tazuna's cabin. And Naruto and Sasuke each went out to train. Considering all the true walking and water walking, they began to spar with each other. And Sasuke asked Naruto to use the KCM. Naruto began to say that using it used up the Nine Tails chakra, and he was gonna save it, and it also was kind of tiring on his body, since his body is really young. It's not fully matured to the point it was when he was when he was 16, I think. So yeah, and he says he was gonna save it until Zabuza's fight. But once they got back to the village, they would spar with it. Sasuke began to say okay. And yeah, Naruto and Sasuke each began to spar with each other. And then they made a bunch of shadow clones. And they began to have the shadow clones spar and stuff, gaining a lot of skill and stuff like that. Naruto also taught Sasuke some sealing jutsus. Yeah, Naruto is an S rank sealer at this point. He is amazing at seals. And And yeah, after this training, they're both high tuning. Naruto. Yeah, Naruto is gonna Naruto and Sasuke are also gonna work on their combination jutsu. Naruto's wind and Sasuke's fire to make the fire like stronger. And they actually end up getting this down. Like they can do it without even calling it out. They just have to give each other a look. And yeah, they also after that developed the jutsu. Oh, I forgot to. Yeah, they also covered the jutsu that They also come up with the strategy where, like, they throw the thing, and then they come in behind it. Naruto and KCM blitzes the opponent and just destroys them. So, yeah, yeah, Naruto and, Sasuke would then go back to Tazuna's house. And this would be the day before the attack. So, yeah. Well, it'll be a few days before the attack. So, like, they were out there training for a day. And, yeah. They developed that all in a day. So, thanks to their shadow. So, yeah, And, Kakashi then Kushina then said it's time for them to learn tree walking and water walking. And when Naruto and Sasuke were still sitting down, she said, "Why aren't you coming?" And Kakashi looked at her kind of weirdly, like, "Hey, have you seen the skill level of these kids? You think they wouldn't know those basic?" And Naruto said that's too easy to learn and that they already know it. Kushina said, "Prove it." Naruto just began to walk up a wall and sit and, like, stand on the ceiling. Then he dropped down, and Kushina asked water walking. Naruto then walked outside, went over to the water, and walked on it. And Kushina was very impressed, but she held it and was like, "Okay, let's just go learn this. This won't take very long." She was wrong. It took her team a while, except for Sakura. And someone commented on my video saying that the reason Sakura had godly chakra control, which I don't know if it's true, is that she had such a small amount of chakra. So yeah, if that is true, that's kind of fucked. I mean, Naruto probably would have had really good chakra control if the Nine Tails wasn't, like, fucking with his chakra. I mean, it was awful. But yeah, if that didn't happen, he probably would have been Sasuke's level. Like, because the Nine Tails was messing with him, he would have been considered a prodigy. He was a prodigy, though, like, because, like, yeah, he would have been considered a prodigy. But, yeah, Naruto and Sasuke each decide to take a day, each decide to go out training by themselves. And Sakura decide to go spy on them. Sakura so that way she can see Sasuke, and Mema because he wants to see their strength. And when the fight begins, Naruto certainly is equal to Sasuke. But then Naruto goes into KCM. It's a very low amount of chakra being used. And then he just blitzes Sasuke and kicks him away. And then the shadow clone goes poof. And then he goes poof. And they just see a line of shadow clones that goes farther than the eye can see. This is how Naruto and Sasuke have been training against each other. Sasuke has actually unlocked the 3 Tomoe using this technique. And is actually able to keep up with some of Naruto's speed. Naruto kind of fights like Rock Lee, but a bit differently. Like, he doesn't flick around so much. But he kind of does, yeah. Yeah, Naruto and, everyone would go back and would go to the bridge. Naruto would leave a clone at their house and would take out both of the bandits, restoring the kids' hope, all that stuff. Some side character development. But yeah, after that, the battle would begin. Naruto and Kushina insists on taking on Haku. Then Naruto point out that she was obviously very outmatched and that she could just help Kakashi with Zabuza. And she turned around and just began to get real mad at Naruto and began to say that she was the Jonin and that he can't boss her around. Naruto began to say, oh well, and just sat down and said, oh well, I guess I won't jump in then to save you again like I did last time. And, Naruto and Sasuke would each sit back and watch. When Kushina started getting, beaten by Haku, Menma would begin to plead with them to step in. And he would begin to plead, and he would begin to apologize for stuff. And Naruto and Sasuke would each just sit there. Until Menma said, are you cowards and scared? And that's when Naruto made a shadow clone. And the shadow clone ran in there, activated KCM, blitzed Haku. Haku basically having broken a ton of ribs. Then blitzes over in front of Zabuza, takes Kakashi Chijori. Naruto's shadow clone blows, poofs, and Haku dies. Then Zabuza starts disrespecting Haku, and Naruto talks some sense into him. And he did all that without him not having the conversation occur. But, yeah, Naruto and Sasuke both then move on to brain fart. Naruto, Kakashi would then wrap up his fight with Zabuza, and it would all go the same as canon. And it would still be named the Great Naruto Bridge, to the disappointment of everyone except for Naruto, Sasuke, and Kakashi. And when they get back, Kushina reports the news to Mito. Mito immediately starts treating Naruto better. Naruto doesn't even care. He's rarely even home. He doesn't eat with them, ever. They begin offering him food. Naruto says, no, he already ate outside the village, outside the home. And Kushina begins to start telling him they need to be back by a certain time, setting a curfew. Naruto says that he knows they're just doing this because they see he has talent, and all they care about is talent. So they should go fuck themselves and kill themselves because he does not care. Even if they kill themselves, he will not care. He does not care what happens to him. And this kind of makes Kushina realize how bad of a mother she's been. Naruto at this time would run into a toad messenger. And this is for a training arc. But Naruto would be told that the toad sage would like to speak with him. And he would say, oh, pervy sage's master. Just my luck. And Toad Sage would then summon Naruto back to think. And this is where, the old guy, what's his name? The elder Toad would begin to speak, saying that you are the child of prophecy. Naruto would then just begin to roll his eyes. And then some random toad began to scream, don't roll your eyes, in the presence of the elder toad, the all-knowing, the dream. And the elder toad would begin to say, it is fine. Hence, the elder toad would have been informed on how Naruto was treated, and how Naruto would begin to say how everyone would, and the elder toad would begin to say that he probably doesn't believe it because he thinks it's just a myth, but it's not a myth. And he begins to explain everything, and Naruto is fairly interested in this stuff, since it's pretty interesting to him. This is basically a top secret meeting, because, they don't want other people finding out about this discovery that they had. But, Naruto, begins to be told about Sage Mode and other things, as well as Toad Summoning, and that they want him to become the new Toad Sage. Naruto would be kind of shocked and ask, why him and not Jiraiya? They would begin to say that Jiraiya is an idiot. And this shocked Naruto, and he asks how. The Elder Toad says that when I read off my prophecy, I said the boy would not be treated equally in life and would be a demon. But obviously Jiraiya didn't have ears, so he ended up just not even hearing that and thought it was Memma. So that's why we brought you here, so that we could train you properly. And, but yeah, Naruto would begin to say, oh, and he would think about it, and he would begin to kind of smile, and he'd have a look in his eyes that he hadn't had since he was a child. He'd begin to say, so you genuinely want to train me because of who I am. And the Elder Toad would nod, and Naruto would begin to smile and would thank them, and would ask that he would come during his 1-month training period at the tuning exams. Naruto would say that that's perfect. And then he goes back to the village where he reappears. Naruto also got the toad summoning while he was there, but it's a special toad summoning that only summons, it doesn't summon combat toads. It summons these special toads that can, do special things, how come I keep on forgetting? That can, messenger toads, toads that are like Kakashi's dogs, those type of toads. They're like special toads. So he doesn't have a summoning for fighting yet, but he has summoning for support, basically. But yeah, this is when they enter the tuning exams. Naruto has the altercation with Gaara, and when Gaara's gonna decide to release some of his bloodlust on Naruto. Naruto does the same, and this bloodlust with the 9 tails, just Naruto's bloodlust. Without Gaara, Naruto's bloodlust is absurd. But then with the 9 tails, it makes everyone start sweating buckets. It's crazy. The 9 tails only using around a third of it, not just to flex a bit. Naruto will begin to say, so don't mess with me. And then would just walk away from the situation. As Kankuro would then collapse out of just straight fear of Naruto. Then he would get up and look at Gaara, and he said, we're staying as far away from that man as possible. And Gaara would begin to say, no, I want to kill him to make myself feel alive. Kankuro would begin to walk over to Gaara and would begin to say, you're alive, dumbass. You don't need to prove your existence by killing that man. It's not gonna happen. Gaara began to say, what makes you think that you can talk down to me? And Kankuro began to say that he's not talking down to him. He's talking sense into him. Tomorrow would just begin to say, how about you two separate and just forget about it? And she said, but they should stay away from him for the integrity of the mission. But Gaara then began to say, you're bringing up the mission. Well, we may want to take him out for the mission. He could cause some problems. He could unleash a bloodlust that's so large that all our troops freeze up and start sweating buckets. And everyone began to nod. And they all began to nod. And Gaara underneath this sand, thingy mobobber. I can't think of it. Sand shield thing. He's really shaking. He's scared of Naruto. He just wants to kill him because it proves existence. Yeah, they go into the written portion of the exam now. And, Naruto basically finishes this pretty easily. Here's how he's gonna create him. Well, all the stuff leading up to it goes the same, basically. Except Sasuke turns down the fight with Rock Lee. And Kabuto, they don't trust him because he has a fishy vibe around him. So yeah, Kabuto's kind of pissed that he couldn't gain Naruto and Sasuke's trust, but he said he'll just gain in the forest. Later days will help them out and help them succeed. Because they'll obviously need his help, or so he thinks, but he's wrong. But Naruto and Sasuke then begin to go into the written portion. They walk through the genjutsu, and yeah. Naruto and Sasuke, then both begin to Naruto enters the exam, and him and Sasuke each agreed they were allowed to enter as a team of two, and Mito saw the raw strength in them, and decided to start believing in Naruto since it was part of their plan. Since, why not have Memma embarrass him? Show him that Memma was always the child that was meant to be. The child of prophecy, who is gonna be the savior of the world. But yeah, no. Memma is struggling with the exam while Naruto just goes over to someone who knows the answers after a while, and is gonna have a water bug land on its paper. It's gonna be a ceiling bug. No, it's gonna be a toad. It's gonna be a toad. He's gonna summon the toad. It's gonna be a tiny toad. He's gonna signal to it what to do. And yeah, Naruto began to look over and point to the toad on who he wanted him to grab. Toad then squirted water in someone's eye, and as they cleaned it out, Toad got all the answers down onto a seal, and then brought it back to Naruto. Naruto thanked the toad, and the toad desummoned. And then Naruto basically summoned the answers from the seal onto his paper, finishing the quiz with 0 effort used. Naruto gets a perfect 100%, and so does Sasuke. The way Sasuke did it was he actually made a clone before entering, and the clone spied on people. So Sasuke used a bit more effort, but still pretty easy. Memo struggled. He can be like Naruto, didn't answer a question, and yeah. Then Anko comes in, and we enter the Forest of Death. Naruto is going to say it's not smart for him and Sasuke to stay in the forest for long, so they decide that one of them will create 5 shadow clones, and these 5 shadow clones will head in different directions, so that way the other one has a chakra. And before Orochimaru can attack, they find a scroll, so they head in the area, and the clone gives it to him. Then, they body flicker to the clone. Then they're gonna take the scroll. It's gonna be the scroll they need, and then they body flicker over to the exam exit, where Minto is setting up arrangements. And he turns around, just wondering, who could this be? You getting who maybe lost their way, maybe a few of them know the body flicker and messed up where they were going or something. No, he turns around, Naruto and Sasuke with both scrolls. Naruto's kind of looking at them, looking kind of weirdly at them, and asks, what is so special about these things? And Minto just looks at them, and his eyes kind of widen, and he's like, how are you two here? They said they found the scroll pretty quickly, since they didn't feel like sitting in the forest for too long. And he asked, did they have some luxury hotel rooms here? Because he really wanted to spend this week in peace. And Minto just began to wind his eye. And yeah, he said, you guys can go inside and we'll have a room for you and stuff. But yeah, he's really Orochimaru weirded out about it, but yeah, Orochimaru is not gonna make his move since he's like, oh god, that would be stupid. But Orochimaru doesn't know Naruto's befriended Naruto, so he just doesn't want to assault. Middle of it, making his presence known, therefore Naruto would jump on him, basically. But yeah, so, after a little bit, Gaara arrives. Gaara, having his ego so happy, walks into the building, and then just sees Naruto and Sasuke sitting in the corner, looking bored. Naruto's gonna be sitting with his back on the floor and his legs up on the wall, saying, oh well, this is really boring, I thought this was gonna be fun. And Sasuke began to say, agreed. And Gaara gets really pissed, and he asks how they got here so quickly. They just began to say simple techniques, They made a few shadow clones, they went out, found the people, took their scroll, body flickered away. Yeah, nothing too crazy. And, yeah. But, then Naruto and Naruto began to get mad and began to launch Sand at them. But then Naruto, on cue, just released his bloodlust and Gaara stopped. Remembering, Naruto is the alpha male in this situation, which he's not happy about. But yeah, what can he do? So yeah, however long, I think it was 7 days. Or 5. 7 or 5. Go by, everyone makes it, and everyone's shocked, dude, that a team of 2 did it in like a few hours, shattering the previous record. It was a stupid time, man. And yeah, now they go into the preliminaries. Kabuto can't drop out. He needs to beat Sasuke for Sasuke to go in the hospital, and yeah, so Orochimaru can maybe get him in there or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, then Naruto gets put up against Menma. Yeah, I'm gonna be put up against Menma. Yeah. Naruto's gonna body Menma pretty quickly. He's just gonna get behind him without even activating KCM before Menma can mutter a thing about it. Began to say shh, and then just knocks him out. Then just body fuckered back to his location. Yeah, Sasuke's gonna go up against the chakra absorbing dude, takes him out pretty easily. Then all the fights in canon go the same, and Gaara breaks the ankle, and Naruto would have actually been training in a bit of medical ninjutsu. He's not the best at it, but he'll Rock Lee's ankle as best as he could. It's not very good, but he knows basic, really basic. And everyone's kind of surprised. And Naruto knows everything to basics of it except Genjutsu. He has no talent for Genjutsu. He sucks at Genjutsu. But it doesn't really bother him since, oh well, he makes it up in other categories. But, yeah. That ends the preliminaries, and, I'm actually gonna end the what if here. I'm tired, I gotta get up early tomorrow. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Oh, one thing I forgot to say at the beginning of the video. Thank you guys for 100 subscribers. I know I'm late. But yeah, thank you guys for 100 subscribers. The growth on my channel has been insane, and, yeah, I don't know what to say. It's just insane. Thank you guys, and, if you liked, the video, make sure you like and subscribe. And yeah, peace.